Good morning, folks, and welcome back to another fantastic episode of Opali Presents Know Your Pros. And today's guest, we have a fantastic attorney. His name is Michael Sacchetto. He is one of the managing partners at Hanning and Sacchetto, an injury firm based out of Whittier, California. They have offices in Pomona and Ontario, serving folks throughout SoCal and around the San Gabriel Valley. Mike is partners with Nathan Hanning at the Hanning and Sacchetto firm, and I am just thrilled to have him sitting on my other side here. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Henry, and thank you, Opali, for hosting. I appreciate it.
Of course, of course. I mean, when it comes to the folks who I've got on my list to talk to, in terms of fantastic attorneys and just great people all around, you were on that list. Christy speaks very highly of you, and what surprised me when I first met you and what we were talking about before we got started here this morning was that before you wanted to become an attorney and start your own practice, you almost jumped into heading up the family body shop in Whittier. Is that right? That's how this whole kind of thing got started.
Yes, that's correct. My parents have owned auto body shops my entire life, and up until my sophomore year of undergrad, I thought I was going to run the family auto body shop.
That's kind of nuts. I mean, it's a lucrative industry to be in, because people are always getting into car accidents, but then again, folks are always also getting injured. So, I mean, I imagine that this first step kind of played into that second step. How was it that you started your own firm with your partner? What bore that dream to happen?
Sure. So I met Nathan in law school. The two of us were on moot court and law review together, and we always kind of kicked around the idea of starting our own practice. As I said, I had no desire to go to law school. I kind of reluctantly went to law school, and I did well, and I enjoyed it. But I met Nathan in law school, and we graduated in 2009. And as everybody knows, the economy wasn't doing so hot, and so it was very difficult to find a job. I had a great job lined up, didn't end up working out because of the economy, and ended up working at a med mal defense firm. And big firm life wasn't for me, and it wasn't for Nathan either. And so the two of us ultimately worked together for about a year at Carroll Kelly, and slowly decided that we were going to start our own practice. And in 2012, pulled the trigger, and it was me, him, spare bedroom, and a computer, and a cheap printer that we fought over how much we were going to spend on. That's how we got started.
Most of the expenses in those initial days probably went into ink purchases, right?
It certainly did. Those inkjets weren't cheap.
Oh man, it's something my partner and I are always talking about. So I mean, how did you two then decide? I mean, okay, we start our own law practice. We're not trying to go out there and be this big box firm, but with this kind of startup mentality that you had with the business, how was it that you got into injury and workers' comp? Is there a story there, or what do you get from that industry? Why is that so appealing to what you guys do at H&S?
Sure. So as I said, we had done medical malpractice defense, which is kind of a basic auto accident on steroids. It's a negligence claim with a bunch of levels of professionalism and medical experience layered on top of each element. So we knew the industry, and we thought, oh, we're going to do med mal on the plaintiff side. Quickly learned that wasn't a good fit for us, just because I don't know, the nature of the laws in California don't make it the best practice areas. But we started approaching firms that had many more cases and much more success than we had at that point in time. And we said, look, anything you say no to, anything that's too small for you, and anything that you don't want to deal with, we've got nothing but time and experience, and we're gonna bang this thing out. And so we started developing relationships with injury firms, and they started sending us oodles and oodles of cases that were below their threshold. And we said, we're going to do it. We're going to grind it out. We're going to learn. We're going to cut our teeth on these cases. And that's kind of what developed that. And then about 7 years ago, we decided we're going to layer on top of our personal injury practice a workers' compensation practice, because there's a lot of overlap between those two. We were realizing that we were getting a lot of calls for injury cases that were work related. And most people don't know the distinction between work comp and injury and personal injury, and that we didn't have a good home for these cases. We kept trying to find good relationships, and we realized there weren't a lot of good work comp firms out there. We said, well, let's do this. Let's try it. And it's been a great success, and it's been a great additional practice area to our practice.
That's really cool. I mean, like the coolest part for me about shooting these shows and going through the Know Your Pros process. We've talked to a lot of attorneys, attorneys kind of in our close personal circle, and without fail, every single time that we talk to somebody like you, they are they are the opposite of what those big box firms are. The billboard attorneys who are trying to take businesses for every penny that they're worth. It's personal for you guys, and it's a small firm approach to serving your clients the best way. And my final question is always like, what is it that sets you guys apart? That seems to me like what we always get with the people that we talk to here on this show. So I wanted to let you put that into your own words. I mean, what is it that sets you guys apart from the competition?
Customer service, hands down. That has always been paramount to our success, is that we always want to be available to our clients. We always want to be upfront with them. You can get us on the phone. 75 to 90% of my clients at any given time have my personal cell phone number. And they can get me on the phone. I want them to know that they're taken care of. Now, that doesn't mean I can tell them at any given time exactly what's going on, but I can access it immediately. I can tell them what's going on. I know their case. I want them to be happy. I will be honest with them. And that has always been our goal, is we want our clients to be happy at the conclusion of the case and send us more clients.
Right. I mean, customer service is huge. That's the biggest part for any business. And what's kind of always made me so happily surprised is that when I'm talking to attorneys, maybe 2 years ago, if you'd said to Henry, hey man, you're going to be talking to attorneys every other week for a show that you're going to be shooting, I'd say you're crazy. But what I've found is that the guys out there that we have on this show, especially folks like you, are real people. They're not just stuffy suited attorneys. They're real individuals who just like have a vested interest in your best interests. If you run into a case where you're hurt at work or you've run into an injury, it's real. And that kind of goes into what I wanted to finish up with. You guys are going to be sponsoring an upcoming 5K here in Whittier for Shelters Right Hand, a battered women's shelter. You guys have been doing that for years now, right?
Correct. I think we're either on our seventh or eighth year. I'd have to check, but it's a great charity. It's a little 5K, and we always encourage everyone in the office to get out. And I don't know that anyone really runs it. We typically walk it together, and we try to wear the same T-shirt and look, get out there as united front and support this great cause.
I love that. I love that. Well, you guys can find the Hanning and Sacchetto firm